And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk Show. Got a great one lined up today. We're having a little fun, but this is a crypto that you might want to consider holding. But let me start off all the disclaimer stuff. The crypto, well, actually, let me tell you the crypto. Let me get you that code. There's a code, boy Jove. The crypto is XZK. It's called X. Let me do this here. Expand is the crypto. And it's XZK. And the code. The code's right there. All righty. XZK. And the reason we're going over this one is because this one has a lot of deep pocket connections. A lot of investment companies are coming in on this crypto. This one particular crypto, Expand, has an investment partner that's holding $9 billion in assets. This is by far the biggest. This crypto has the partnerships that I've never quite seen as far as money. All right. Now, the investors in this crypto are big. I'm not saying they dumped hundreds of millions into this crypto. It's this crypto has just one partner that has $9 billion in assets. It's an investment company. We're going to go over it during the show. It also has 4 or 5 other investment companies in it. You got the founder of Polygon helped this crypto. This crypto has Wormhole, which is a Ripple partner. This crypto has Wormhole as its partner. That's how it's able to be interoperable and scale. We're going to get into this crypto. I think it's something you might want to seriously consider. Some of the partners are the ones I've seen over and you got Samsung, the makers of the cell phone and electronics, Samsung. They're working with this crypto to try to develop, to integrate it into phones. So you got Samsung in there. Look, this is a pretty good little crypto. It's a small crypto. But I have a feeling this one's going to take traction. Some of you might want to throw $100 in it, $200, whatever it is. Just let it ride. Okay. You're not going to get rich off this crypto tomorrow. It's geared for Web3. So this is a future facing crypto. I want to show you while it's early. This is not a pump dump. Although some of you are going to do it. That's your fucking problem. This is a crypto here that you want to hold on to. You want to get it while it's early and hold it. That's what you want to do with this. Here's some of the, you got Samsung, Hashkey Capital, Mirana Ventures, Signum Capital. We've gone over that one before. Tribe Capital. We've gone over that one before. Morningstar Ventures. Gone over that one before. These are the venture capital companies involved in this. Arcanum Capital, D1 Ventures, Stratos, GAF Capital Partners, Double Top, and Charged Ventures. You have angel investors in this, and that's the guy who co-founded Polygon. So that's a pretty huge freaking deal. Oh, yeah, the guy that made DoorDash, one of the executives there, he's working with this project too. Why is DoorDash popular? Because they're hooked up with a Ripple partner we're going to go over here later, Fiserv. Fiserv is working with DoorDash. Fiserv gave DoorDash the technology. And if you look at Ripple customer list, I'll show you where somebody from Fiserv came over to Ripple very early in the project, like day one, a Fiserv employee. So that's my connection to Fiserv right there. My name is Crypto Hawk. I'm not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. Everything on the show is fake. I'm heavily medicated under by snorting cocaine, injecting heroin, using methamphetamines and stuff. This is your disclaimer to legally warn you to stay away. Run from this channel if possible. If you're in a wheelchair, wheel as fast as you can. Hopefully your batteries are charged. Don't listen to anything I say in this program. There you go. Now, let's get into who's the first 5 people here on the show. Brian Edwards. Crypto She-Hulk is here. Oh, I thought she wasn't going to be here. Huh? Wait. Crypto She-Hulk says, oh, wait, no, that's probably from last night. Okay. She's flying. She'll be in mid-flight. Okay, well, all right. I'll let you slip on that one. Robert Bobby Driscoll. Who else we got here? Mr. OG Stu Lavelle is here from Australia. Darren Johnson, Chris Sharpie, and 552 Man. Blue Adept is here. Terrence McNamara. Okay, let's go with the flow. Where's this crypto at? Here, let me. Okay, now there's a company called Peak, which is Peak, and then there's a space, and then there's XV Partners. So it's probably Roman numerals, Peak 15 Partners, but it's Peak XV Partners. This is the big dog. They're a division of, tell me you haven't heard of Sequoia Capital. That's who is all involved in this little crypto, this tiny, teensy little crypto project that nobody knows about, that has all these connections that we're going to go over right now. Peak XV Partners is a prominent venture capital and growth investing firm, primarily focused on India. They're focused on India, Southeast Asia, and increasingly beyond some investments in the U.S. Originally founded in 2006 as Sequoia Capital India. Let me tell you something. It doesn't get a whole lot bigger. Okay, if you see a crypto project, I'm just giving you a heads up, that has Andreessen Horowitz, also known as A16Z, or you're seeing Sequoia Capital or Draper Investments, these are things that you need to get, okay? This company here, Peak XV, has $6 billion in assets. That's a company you probably want to copy. They must know something, okay? Let's keep going. So Sequoia Capital, it's like a division. Sequoia Capital is so massive. It's global. It's one of the biggest crypto influencing venture capitalist companies. Like Sequoia Capital, it doesn't get a whole lot bigger than that. They're like at the top with other people. Started in 2006. It operated as a part of the Global Sequoia Capital Network before rebranding to Peak XV Partners in 2023. Following a split from Sequoia US and Sequoia China, the name Peak XV draws from the original survey designation for Mount Everest, symbolizing the firm's emphasis on pursuing high growth opportunities. This company has put money into this project here called Expand, and this company's worth $9 billion. That kind of tells you something right there. Headquartered in Bengaluru, India, Peak XV manages over $9 billion in assets. Oh, man. Kind of a big deal, maybe, right? They have 13 different investment funds, and they're invested into 400 different companies. Their portfolio has technology, that's what this is, consumer services, healthcare, and fintech, which is what this is. That's the 4 main categories what they invest in. They have support for early stage startups through programs like taking founders on AI trips to Silicon Valley and recent expansion such as building a Bay Area team for U.S. investments. Oh my God, they're growing. In 40 of the companies they invested in, they made $100 million. So they invested in like 40 tech firms, and all those 40 helped make them $100 million. So it looks like they're making their profit is $2 million per company they invest in. Just in these little tech companies. Remember, they're holding other people's investment monies of the tunes of $9 billion. Yes, Peak XV Partners has made several investments in crypto, blockchain, and fintech, including those directly involved with retail tokens. The companies they invest in span DeFi protocols, blockchain infrastructure, gaming. They're involved in gaming, crypto companies, platform payment solutions. Oh, gee, I wonder if Wormhole, who's a Ripple partner, has anything to do with payment platforms with Expand Crypto. Oh, I doubt it, Crypto Hulk. Now, their partners, of course, are Polygon, is a layer 2 solution, involves the Matic token. And actually, the guy that helped make Polygon is helping this project here. They're in good hands as a small little company. Now, they list some of the cryptos that they've invested in: Steppen, Beta Finance, Clearpool, Band Protocol, Mystic Network, which is what we're dealing with right here, the Mystico Network, yet something called P-Stake, and Indy. I looked these up. These weren't anything I really felt we could invest in or really wanted to. Something called Cast, and then Partior. This is a platform they're involved with, is Partior. That's massive. And that involves, I'm sure, XRP. Look, I can't look up everything in this. I spent about 6 hours trying to find this crypto and doing the research on it. So yeah, yesterday I was sitting here for like 6 hours, literally trying to find a crypto. And when I did find this, I had to research it, call my friends up, check it out and stuff. Now, the Partior network is so involved with all these banks, okay? I'm not going to get into the Partior network, but it's just humongous. And this crypto is a part of that. Let me check the comment section, and I'll go to the next part on this. Eric M., member for 35 months. Good morning, Hulk and fam. Appreciate you and everyone that participates here every day. Wait, I had the best tandoori chicken today. Oh my God. Okay, back to the show. Okay, let's go. It's Labor Day in the United States. It's a national holiday. It's a vacation for some people. A lot of people are doing stuff. I usually don't like doing shit on holidays. I like doing stuff like either before or after a holiday, just because the crowds just fucking piss me off. So if I'm going to celebrate a certain thing, it'll be like when there's not 10 gazillion people at a lake or whatever it is. That's kind of how I do shit. If everybody's going to be there on a Monday, I'm going on a Saturday or a Sunday or something like that, just to not have, all that frustration, all these babies screaming and shit, and people playing their music that's all kinds of fucked up. I have a short temper for dumb shit. All right. Let's look at more evidence on this crypto. See if I can find. Okay. The project is an Ethereum smart contract for the Mystic. So here's what happened. This crypto was made on the Mystico. It's called a Mystico token, MYSTIKO. There was some confusion with myself and this crypto because it had a rebranding. The company name rebranded. So what happened is you have this crypto that ends in DDF0. That's the expand crypto. This company started off as mystical. Here's what I really think happened. Let me tell you what I really think. I know I don't normally tell you what I really think, but this time I am. I think what happened is this started off as an Ethereum project, and all these rich companies came in and put some money into it. Okay. Well, we know Ethereum doesn't work, and Vitalik Buterin looks like a crackhead, like Beavis and Butthead kind of shit. And I think what happened is when they got in with Wormhole, shortly, we know the company rebranded, and I think, this is just my opinion, I think the reason is they realized this Ethereum shit don't work. So then they hooked up with Wormhole, and Polygon is hooked up. Actually, Stellar, let me show you. Stellar has something called Albridge, and it helps Polygon. Let me just show you this article. I show it all the time. Now, I'm just guessing. I have no evidence for this. I'm just guessing, okay? I like to do fact-based programs, and when I guess, then, or prognosticate, no, that's nothing sexual. When I prognosticate, this is what I'm fighting here. You got something called Albridge. Now, Stellar created a multi-blockchain bridge. Here we go. It's for Ethereum, Solana, CeeLo, and, oh, look, Polygon. So I'm just telling you, I think Stellar's mixed up in this as well. I'm just saying, there's no official whatever. It's just my opinion. Opinion. Now, what's interesting is that Albridge was launched July of 2023. Oh, shit. Isn't that just about when this when Mystico became known as Expand? Was around late 2023. So it's just about the time that Albridge came out with Polygon. And isn't it just so happen that the founder of Polygon is helping this Mystico? Yeah, I know these are all just coincidences, but it's things that make you go, huh, right? All right, let's get back to the facts. Fact-based channel. So Mystico kind of does one of these rebrands. Now, it keeps the same token ID contract, and the blockchain name is the same. It's just the name of the company that switched to Expand. So, and it sure is a coincidence that Albridge, working with Polygon, and the founder of Polygon gets mixed up in this in late 2023. And then Wormhole comes in, which is Ripple, and then all of a sudden now they want to rebrand. Because Ethereum doesn't work. Let's continue. Now, what happens here is they're using Mystico Network is a Web3 infrastructure protocol that serves as a universal zero-knowledge software development. Now, a lot of you guys have ZK Sync, like me. Well, they're a competitor. This is a competitor to ZK Sync, all right? Now, it says here, in this protocol here, the Expand protocol enhances scalability and interoperability. Of course, because you got Wormhole, which is a Ripple partner, and then you have Albridge, which allows Polygon, and Ethereum, which just says all these things to be interoperable. And the guy from Polygon is helping this. See, I know I don't have evidence for it, but it's got to be. You've got to have Stellar in this, Ripple in this. And that's why they rebranded. Let's continue. And they're keeping a lot of secrets in who are all the developers in this blockchain. It's all that stuff is. Now, why would I go over Crypto Hulk that doesn't tell us all the developers and the board of directors and all these things? I realize that, but I also realize we've got a $9 billion investment company involved here, Sequoia Capital involved, and these other Signum Capitals and all these Tribe Capitals, all these money companies involved. The biggest money investor cryptos in the world are not going to hook up with this platform if it's dumb shit, okay? I'm sorry. You're not going to have a Sequoia Capital company, one of the biggest crypto investments in the world, invest in some dumb shit. So they a lot of times keep all this stuff quiet on who the developers are because they want to keep the crypto prices cheap so they can, like Ripple, they want to keep the prices as low as they can while they're building out and giving it to people to get to work, okay? They're spreading liquidity. These are my opinions, okay? So it's a privacy-focused crypto. It's interoperable. They have scalability tools. They have AI integration. In March, Mystico, this crypto here, upgraded to expand. So it started in March, focusing on a trustless authentication layer for AI ZK agents. That's where they're talking about ZK proofs. This is where ZK Sync is in competition with this company. Now, let me tell you something. We know that in 2023, and then in 2024, Wormhole comes in. That's why I think in 2025, they rebranded this to expand. After Stellar came out with, in July of 2023, Stellar came out with Allbridge, which links up Polygon. I think at that point, Polygon, I don't have proof on this. I think at that point, Polygon got involved in this program in 2023 with the interoperability of Allbridge, and that's Stellar, because Jed McCaleb, who made Ripple, also made Stellar. Then I think in 2024, Wormhole comes into the picture. That's a straight up Ripple partner. Wormhole gets integrated while they have Polygon helping them. And then in 2025 in March, that's when they did the rebrand. So they went from just Ethereum only to Ethereum Allbridge and then Ethereum Wormhole to get Stellar and Ripple interoperability. Just my opinion. Let's keep going. Governance. They have a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. There's 1,500 members in their DAO. Now, this crypto launched in 2023, version 1. And it already has transacted 276 million in transactions. $276 million. It's had 1.2 million transactions. They've had 153,000 unique users across 6 chains. There's 22 million, I guess, staked. They have a staking program. I'm just kind of cherry picking this. I'm not going to read everything to bore you to death. I'm pulling out just the parts that I think are important. It doesn't mean I'm not going to miss anything, but I'm just for the sake of time, I'm going to speed things up. Yeah, it doesn't say a whole lot about the founders and stuff. They're kind of keeping a lot of that quiet. I realize that, look, I'm going to give you both sides of this. I'm not trying to sell some used car here. I realize that they don't list any founders or board of directors, like I've already said. I'm going to give them a pass on that just because the amount of venture capital is involved. These venture capitals aren't putting in 20 million, 100 million in research and development. These venture capitals are not going to dump hundreds of millions into a fucked up company knowingly, okay? Knowingly. So there's something going on there's somebody at this company. Why? How is it attracting all these venture capitals? The big ones, not the ABC, never heard of you capital investment company. No, these are world-renowned. Sequoia Capital, world-renowned investment companies put money into this. Why? They're not listing who's working for them. There's something going on. The bullshit meter's going off. Hold on.
Bullshit! 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 That's bullshit.
Okay, so there's something big going on. Now, you got Wormhole. which is a Ripple partner working with them. You got Tuna Chain, like Tuna, T-U-N-A. Soonverse, KLK Foundation, Mirada AI, Portalto Bitcoin, and you got some other Bitcoin projects mixed up in this. Chroma Network, Range Protocol, which I've heard of Range Protocol before. And again, you got Samsung. Samsung's trying to integrate that into their hardware. That's probably one of your signs as well. When you have Sequoia Capital, Tribe Capital, Signum Capital, Samsung, Polygon, Wormhole, probably want to put $100 to $200 into this and just let it go. Okay. And let me click out of that one. There's expand. They have an X page. Let's do a copy paste. If you want to follow them on X, let's say you want to buy some of this, then you might want to follow them on X. Stephen Morris, Trump's World Liberty available right meow. Yes, it is. Okay. Let me take a look here. We got that one. Expand. Okay, so in the article, it talks about, or in the research I did, this expand has a DoorDash executive working for them. And that's interesting because Fiserv is a payment company. That's where the Republicans held the national convention to put Donald Trump in office. In Milwaukee, there's a Fiserv stadium. And Donald Trump got elected from that stadium. That's where the Republicans released Donald Trump as their choice. And Fiserv right here, read the title. Fiserv delivers embedded finance to DoorDash. This was last year. So Fiserv is working with DoorDash. And that's important because Fiserv is working with Ripple from day one. Here's your evidence for that. Somebody from Fiserv came over to Ripple day one. Let's go to the 19-second mark. 19-second mark. We got Ripple Labs page. This is like 2013, I believe. Maybe 2014. It's Ripple Labs. Meet the team. Apple, Boku, Elon, and Fiserv right there. Okay. So all roads lead back. Look, I wouldn't doubt Fiserv is not. I'm sure they have a Ripple non-disclosure because Fiserv, somebody from Fiserv went to Ripple Labs in 2013. So I don't have evidence because Ripple has all these non-disclosure agreements, but I'm just saying Fiserv's name is right there. So just very interesting. Let me click out of that and that one. Okay, let me read some comments here. Then we'll get to fundamental news. I've got some fundamental news articles. Something about China. China. Let's see. World Liberty Financial dropped down to 25 cents. Yeah, look, I don't get mixed up in all that. You notice how I've never gone over World Liberty Finance? Am I putting it down? Nope. Am I interested right now in it? Nope. Do they have big partners? Who are all the big partners working at World Liberty Finance, or whatever that is? I don't know. I looked it up a few times. Wasn't something I was interested in. A whole lot of liquidity or whatever. And at first it was, at first the coin was like $2. Now it's at 25 cents. What does that tell you? That these people aren't interested in it. If they can make some kind of money off it, but it's a project they don't even want to fucking touch. If a price just dumps like that, then that means these people obviously don't believe in that project. When I show you projects here, I try to show you who's backing it up. And when we went over today, Expand, you got some big names in there. It doesn't have a whole lot of people, but it doesn't need a whole lot either. This crypto we just went over has some big investment companies right in there in the beginning. That's important. And then with the Ripple and Stellar connection, we know there's a Ripple connection with Wormhole. Stellar could be a little speculative, but I don't think so, because the guy that started Polygon is like right there helping Expand. And Polygon's linked in with Stellar's Allbridge. So that's an interesting little crypto we went over. Let's start here. Where's the next one? China. We got an article on China. Now let's go here let's do this one. Hold on. Flare, the Flare network. Oh shit. Let me do a copy and a paste. Right chair. Let's learn about Flare. It's one of my favorites. I think Flare is like my third or fourth biggest holding. I don't have a lot of it. See, I got HBAR. Then I think XDC, then Flare. I think that's how I got it set up at Caleb and Brown. Flare lands a second public company for its XRP DeFi framework. Combined with Firelight, Flare's restaking layer, the setup lets companies convert XRP into Flare XRP and allocate it across decentralized lending, staking, and liquidity protocols. Everything Blockchain has signed a memorandum. So there's a company called Everything Blockchain Incorporated. They have signed a memorandum of understanding to adopt Flare's XRP-Fi framework for a corporate treasury yield. Flare's system aims to transform XRP into a productive asset for institutions through its FA asset system and the Firelight restaking layer. Now, Flare is one that's on my radar where I want to buy more. I'm just letting you know. Don't bump the price up, please, before I get it. I should be getting paid either today or tomorrow. Don't bump the price up. The adoption by two companies, including Vivo Power International, signals a shift in how digital assets like XRP are utilized by institutions. XRP's slow push into institutional finance just picked up another backer. Data-focused blockchain firm Flare announced on Friday that Everything Blockchain Incorporated. Now, this is a company, excuse me, if some of you guys say, Crypto Hulk, can you please include regular stocks into your program that relate to crypto? This one's for you. The company is called, now this is a company, Everything Blockchain Inc. You can buy it. It's EBZT. Edward Boy Zebra Thomas. That's the stock, okay? I forgot how much it was. I looked at it yesterday. I don't know where you can buy this particular stock. I believe it's a United States, a U.S. listed company. Okay. So somebody let us know, and usually Mr. OG is first on this. EBZT, how much is the price of that one? Stu Lavelle, I have no flair. Uh-oh. Robert Driscoll says, Stu, don't miss out. It's still cheap. Okay, EBZT is 32 cents. Perfect. Says Jorge and Darren Johnson. So this is a crypto I'd highly suggest you look into. I mean, a company, if you want, because look, they're working with Flair. Look, all this stuff. Oh my God, I'm getting too excited. Hold on. Everything Blockchain Inc. It's a real company. It costs 32 cents. You can probably get on Robinhood or whatever kind of investment. Probably go to your Wells Fargo account and buy it. You know, it's a U.S. listed company, and it signed a memorandum of understanding to adopt XRP finance framework for its treasury yield. What we got here is NASDAQ listed. There's a company called Vivo Power International PLC. The ticker is VVPR. That's Victor Paul Roberts. Now I'm giving you two real world companies because some of you guys like to do that. Some people watch my show and only want the corporations, not the crypto. That's fine. I don't care, really. It's whatever you want to do with your fucking life. What we have, in my opinion, because I'm not a financial advisor, is you've got two companies that have early mover advantage. That's another thing you want. One company is called Everything Blockchain Inc., and the other company is called Vivo Power International PLC. Now, they're in early. Flare is early. That's why Flare is only like 2 cents and not $2 or $200. I'm showing my channel's based on showing you the news, not the history. Okay. What I'm trying to do is show you companies that are brand new utilizing crypto. They're going to have first mover advantage other companies don't have. These two companies here are doing what no other companies are doing. That's why I'm showing you this. This is brand new. If you have Robinhood or whatever, you might want to look into EBZT, which is Edward Boy Zebra Thomas. That's the ticker on the stock exchange. And if you want the other one on the NASDAQ, it's Vivo Power International, Victor Paul Robert, okay? And they're going to put in $100 million in XRP to Flare ecosystem. The agreement marks early steps in Flare's. See, we're early. Okay, look, when you invest in these stocks, you're not rich next week, okay? What you have to do is now get into these stocks if you want and wait for Web3, DeFi to take off. Maybe that's a year or two from now. I don't know. But you're in early. The one crypto is 32 cents. How much is that other one? Somebody look it up. Somebody look it up there, buddy. And then Chris Sharpie says, GPUS, that's hyperscale data. You got to get that one. That's an actual stock. GPUS was $2 for $1. You guys, these are companies that haven't even started taking off yet with this Web3. GPUS is 50 cents. I'm thinking about getting some of that shit for real. Stephen Morris, $5.16. So that's the Vivo International. What's the name of that shit? Oh, Vivo, where the fuck is it? Vivo Power International. Vivo Power is one word. International is $5.16. The EBZT one's 32 cents. I'm telling you what, everybody, these are early. A year from now, I wouldn't be shocked if these are both like $50 or something like that, $100. The agreement mark early steps in Flare's effort to turn XRP, historically a non-yielding asset, into a productive instrument for institutions. Oh, see what this company's doing? They're buying $100 million of XRP, putting it into Flare to stake it so they can earn return on the money every year. Stu Lavelle, you need to get some Flare, buddy. I'm telling you, it's my number 4 investment, Stu, is Flare. It's my number 4 at Caleb Brown on the list. It's that, I think it's that important in the crypto space. For like a year from now or 2 years from now, now's the time to buy it, not a year or two from now. It's going to be like $20, $30. At the center of the framework is Flare's FA asset system, a trustless bridge that gives smart contract functionality to tokens like XRP and Bitcoin. Combined with Firelight, Flare's restaking layer, the setup lets companies convert XRP into FXRP and allocate it across decentralized lending and staking and liquidity protocols. XRP, now roughly a $150 billion asset, has become a cornerstone of digital finance for more than a decade. Yet, institutions have had few ways to make it productive. That's said by Hugo Filion, Flare's co-founder and CEO. Flare changes that by enabling a compliant, on-chain, non-custodial yield framework designed for corporate treasuries. With Vivo Power and now everything blockchain, public companies are validating that XRP-Fi is not just a concept, but an emerging institutional standard. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're being shown the future of what Flare is doing right here. There's very few companies doing this. You're at the very beginning with Flare, investing in these 2 companies that are going to be utilizing XRP and Flare. I think you have a good opportunity here. That's why I wanted to read off this article to you and just let you consider if you want to invest in any of the above, Flare or any of these other 2 companies. Let me check the comments section. And where are we at as far as 240? Okay. Let me check here. Kat says, hey, Hulk, glad I made a live show. Okay, so there we got the hyperscale data. So if you're watching this show and you want real world companies that utilize crypto, well, here's real companies there. Hyperscale data. Highly suggest you look into that one. Then we got the Vivo Power International. So there you have that. Okay. Robert Driscoll. Flare, my largest holding volume-wise. Oh, so he has a whole lot of Flare tokens. I've got pretty close. Whatever I got in XRP, I got in Flare. Probably a little bit more. 1.5 maybe. Yeah. So for every 1 Flare, I have like 1.5 XRP. Something kind of, it's close to that. All right, let's go to the next. Okay. Here is copy. This is a massively important article. This article here will probably, let's just get into this. So it's from Google Cloud. And what this is they're telling us a state of the world address with Bitcoin, with stable coins. The title is Beyond Stablecoins, the Evolution of Digital Money. Now, what this article is, this is a good article. If you know somebody who is not into crypto, doesn't believe in it or whatever, they got to have to look through this because this is presented for somebody. It's presented to like help people understand what are stablecoins, what's the importance, how's it growing, this and that. It kind of shows the person that doesn't believe this is happening, whether you believe it or not, and it will become the future of finance, whether you believe in it or not. And you will be using this, whether you believe in it or not. That's how this article from Google is. We're going to go over it just a little bit here. Stablecoins experienced remarkable growth in 2024, tripling in transaction volume. That's a 300% increase. In 2024, I didn't know this. There was $5 trillion in stablecoin transactions, in organic transactions, and $30 trillion total. Now, who's that from? Visa. Visa and Artemis reported this, and there's links on this article you can click. For comparison, PayPal's annual transaction volume is about 1.6 trillion. Visa has $13 trillion in United States dollar pegged stablecoin supply. That's truly amazing. Demand for better services is driving a major shift in the nearly $3 trillion payments market. Unburdened by complexities, inefficiencies. Okay, the reason stablecoins are taken off is because it's like almost free to use them. It's easy. You don't have to convert nothing. It's just, that's why it's taken off. This will become, Visa has incorporated Ripple's technology. Let's call it a liquidity type hub. You put in $1 on one end and out pops a peso or whatever on the other end that you want. So that's why if you're traveling in different countries, if you pay with stable coins on this system with Visa and stuff, it converts everything for you. And it's not it's cheap. You don't have to pay like these 3% or 5% fees. That's why it's all taken off. And people get paid immediately. So it's not like the old Visa where you had to wait. Okay, let's say you go to a restaurant, right? Okay, here's somebody who doesn't understand stable coins. Why do we need them? Okay, the old Visa, before it hooked up with Ripple and all that, not Ethereum or Bitcoin or none of the other, with Ripple, is you'd go to a restaurant, you'd slide your card through, it would show that there's a payment, and you'd get to leave without being arrested for stealing, right? And then about 3 days later, that restaurant would get paid, okay? What stable coins are, it's money. So when you slide your card through, that restaurant gets paid in 2 to 5 seconds. They get paid the money. They don't have to wait 3 days anymore. That's why people that don't believe in crypto and stablecoins and shit, that's why you don't have to believe in it. You're going to be using all this technology that you don't believe in right now. And you're missing out on these opportunities that I'm talking about. And then when the 85-year-old grandma understands all this and how it works, it's too late. These prices are skyrocket high. And it's over. Let's continue with this. I don't want to get into too much of the investing part. But these stable coins, here's another thing that's different. These stable coins, you can have gold-backed stable coins, property-backed. We go over all these kinds of cryptos you guys can buy. Eventually, in the future, stable coins are better than cash. Now, what's going to happen is this. Money is going to get backed with gold. That's why I stocked up on gold last year. Maxed out a couple credit cards, bought gold, paid it off in about 10 months, 11 months. And I don't care about interest rate charges, not giving a fuck about that because my gold went up about 100% almost. So that's another reason stable coins are increasing in use is because some of them are backed with real world objects. And that's how it's going to be in the future. All of our paper money is going to be backed with gold again. And that's why the dollars will be worth a lot. All these countries in the world have been buying gold. So at one point, let me think. Yeah, at one point, up until about 6 months ago, my gold was worth more than all my crypto. And it was like that for years. I was one of the only crypto channels where up until about, I think, 6 months ago, somewhere around there, 6 months ago, I have more money valued in gold than I did cryptocurrency. These other channels, no. But now as crypto is going up, it's starting to pass my gold. Unless gold does what I think it should do, and I've been telling people for about 5 years, I see gold hitting 10 to 15,000 an ounce. Now at that point, my gold's going to skyrocket more than my crypto, and then it's going to take time for that crypto to go up to pass the gold. But that's what we're seeing here. It talks about fractional reserve banking. This is quite a long article, which I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to hit on some topics here. They're talking about a new infrastructure and new possibilities. This article is designed for that friend that doesn't believe in any of this crap. It's by Google, and you got Visa partnered up with us. They're showing you this will happen eventually to everybody. It starts right now. So Google is showing you the trend that has already started, and pretty soon everything like this will be your new wallet. You won't be paying with the card anymore, cash. It'll be your finger, your thumbprint, palm print, whatever, face shot, whatever, your phone. You scan the phone, touchless. That's what you won't be using a credit card anymore. We've read articles already. Visa, MasterCard, they're going to phase out credit cards in the next couple of years. No more card. Everything's done digitally through like a phone. Google's talking about the disruptors, stablecoins. I'm not going to get into all this, but this is the trend right here. It's coming. They talk about innovators, better payments through evolution, not revolution. The time to act is now. The future of finance is digital. That means in the airwaves, okay? But it doesn't have to be fragmented or expensive. Google Clouds, they have something called a universal ledger, everybody. This is how they're going to be doing this. Google has a universal. Now, we all know a universal ledger is the XRP ledger. We all know, if you watch Crypto Hulk Show, that Google is one of the first investors into Ripple. Trust and believe. Google and Ripple, they know exactly what's up, okay? And in my opinion, Google has this universal ledger. This is so massive right here. I'm sure it ties in with the Interledger Protocol, the HTTP 402 that we talked about, and Codius and all of that. That's what I truly believe. I don't have all the evidence tying it together because they have all this stuff secret, but Google basically just came out and told us right here in this last paragraph here, Google Cloud's universal ledger offers an easy to integrate, scalable, secure, and efficient solution built on a partnership model. Oh, I wonder who Google partnered with. It complements existing business models rather than competing with them. That's what Ripple is, okay? Ripple's not here to put Swift out of business, okay? Like a lot of these channels say, oh, Ripple's going to take over Swift. Even Brad Garlinghouse has said maybe something similar to that effect. Ripple's the government. Ripple is the top 5 families of the world. So Ripple's job is to help facilitate faster payments with crypto to get us all on this slave system, which is a crypto slave system, okay? So Ripple's not trying to undo Swift. Swift's who controls shit and has the power, right? And we already know, I already showed you with Thunes, Thunes, Thunes Bank in Adidjawafa out of North Africa. Swift is already utilizing wallets and Ripple. Swift is already a partner with Thunes and Adidjawafa Bank. Swift's already sending payments in 2 to 5 seconds on the XRP ledger. They're already doing it. So Ripple's not tearing apart Swift. That shit's not going to happen. Ripple's technology is currently being adopted by Swift, and Swift will be using it. So there's that. Yeah, the Red Child family. That would get your channel burned up. Just include these complexities. Okay, I think I think that'll be it for this particular morning program. That'll be it. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. If I can find, I've got another crypto I want to show you for tonight's show. I was working on it. I found it yesterday. And let me see. Yeah, let me. Yeah, this next article here we're going over. It's another crypto. It's not like cheap. It's under a quarter. This next crypto we're going over tonight, but it's got deep connections. It'd be something where you want to put $100 to $200 in, and I got those people. I was talking to a guy last night. He'll usually put in $100 to $200 into, if it's a good crypto, $100 to $200. He doesn't trade them. He doesn't want to trade. He just wants to have a diversified. He's probably got 70 cryptos or something like that. But he wants a diverse portfolio, and there you have that. But let me work on that stuff. I'll see. Thoughts on World Liberty Financial. I kind of talked about it earlier. I didn't study it. I've looked into it before. It never impressed me. I mean, I tried to maybe do a little deep dive on it. I'm like, nah. So it's like a stable coin, I believe. I don't know. And stable coins, we can't flip or get rich on because they're stuck at $1. So, I mean, I could look at it again at some point. I just wasn't impressed with it as an investment. I think, isn't it like a stable coin or something? Does anybody know? Like, why are you guys interested in World Liberty Financial coin? What partnerships do they have that is interesting to you? Okay, so it's not a stable coin. Rather put my money elsewhere. Yeah, like I looked into it. I'm not putting it down. It could be a great project. I looked at it once for about 5 or 10 minutes and was like, nah. So it was a meme. Now it's DeFi. So shit like that, right? I don't care if it's a Trump failure. That means nothing to me. Like I'm talking about real world use case. Like is Wells Fargo hooked up with this? Is Fidelity Information System, the fastest processing company in the world, they hooked up? Is Visa partnering up? Like who's working with this World Liberty? I don't care if it's Trump's coin or not. That shit doesn't mean shit to me. Like I need to know. I mean, having investors is great. Okay. But what crypto projects are involved? What are they trying to, what world problem are they trying to fix? What tech companies are they working with? I mean, hey, the crypto we went over today had great investors, but guess what? You also have Polygon working with them. You had Wormhole, who's a Ripple partner, providing liquidity, scalability, and shit like that, interoperability. So Trump has the investors, great. But the tech side of it, you got Wells Fargo in there. Like, who's working with them? What are they trying to accomplish? That's why I would involve myself with World Liberty. If I had, having the money is great, but look what happened to Kanye West's coin. It went from $1 billion to zero or something, right? So I don't care who's involved. Names don't matter 100%. They're becoming a bank. Okay. That's still not necessarily a big deal. Mr. OG is like K West, oil clap, oil clap. Okay, let's do something real quick here. Okay, I'm looking up World Financial right now. World Liberty or whatever the name of this thing is. So it has a guy named Steve Witkoff. Didn't he do something with Apple or wasn't he like one of the founders of something like that? Aims to create a DeFi platform with a US dollar peg stablecoin. That's what I'm talking about. So it's like a stablecoin project is what it is. It launched in 2024. It has Trump involved. Okay, so that's not a big deal. Integrating traditional finance with blockchain. Okay, that's good. Raised hundreds of millions through token sales and partnerships. That's good. They have a token, something called WLFI. The project faced scrutiny over transparencies, political ties. Look, a lot of these brand new companies, they don't announce who works for them. So that's fine. I don't care about that. I'm looking at the partners. Steve Witkoff is a real estate developer and a United States ambassador. That doesn't mean shit to me. Zach Witkoff. So it looks like everybody's family and friends are involved in this, like all these rich people's family and friends. I could probably see a reason for controversy there. It was previously co-founded. Zach Folkman, head of operations, he founded something called Doe Finance, which suffered a $2 million hack. That's probably not a good thing right there. Okay, Aave is integrated. Protocol on Ethereum, integrated for credit lending. So they integrated Aave into their program. So the companies involved in this are basically shit, okay? Axiom Management Group, who the fuck are they? Alt 5 Sigma, not impressed. Volta, formerly EOS. That's Aave, that's Doe Finance. They got hacked, so they got their cheeks clapped. So I'm not, there's nothing here as far as companies involved. So they have, now maybe Grok's giving me the cheap version, but I'm just not impressed whatsoever. If I didn't know that this was Trump's whatever, I'd look at this and be like, I'm not touching this shit. So, I mean, I could background it. I could do more of a thorough investigation later. But from what I'm looking at here, just I asked to look at their crypto partners. I've heard of Aave. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know how big it is, but that's all that there is. Like they integrated Aave into their platform. Doesn't say that they're partners. So I just see a big nothing burger here right now. Unless some of you guys know some shit that I don't know. Like I haven't studied it. So I just did like a real quick look up of Aave, their partnerships and stuff. And there's nothing there that, I mean, World Liberty Financial, there's nothing there that was interesting. Hulk, what would you tell a Fred if he was considering swapping Axelar for CFG? I'd say split the difference. Another guy asked me that. A $500 member asked me a question about two particular cryptos, which I won't talk about. He wanted to sell one to get the other, and both of them are good. You know, I told him split the difference. Projects fail. For some reason, look, this crypto space is so fake, all right? So sometimes projects just stop functioning for whatever reason they are. I don't know. Some of your investments that cryptos you invested in just will become worthless. Just letting you know. And they could be a popular one too. That's why we just don't have one crypto or 5 now. The more that I've learned in this crypto space, I got like 20. And if you add software, wallet, shit, cryptos, I've got probably 10 of them in there. So they got a total of 30. I got 20 on Caleb and Brown, 19, maybe 18. I can't remember. 18, 19, 20. 18 solid projects. But that doesn't mean they couldn't go under. Then my hardware, my phone and the software wallets, I've got, I'm sure 10 to 15 cryptos in there. Those are kind of like, these cryptos where if they go up, great. If they go down, I really don't fucking care. That's like my play money crypto stuff. But the shit that's on my Caleb Brown, that's the real deal shit. I don't fuck with that. I'm not swapping them out and try. No, I don't touch that shit. So, as far as Centrifuge and Axelar, like, me personally, I would like to have half and half on that. They're both about the same price, I think, pretty close. Axelar might be 34 cents or Centrifuge is 28 or I don't know what. They're pretty close to 30 cents a piece. I like the fact that Axelar is really tight with Ripple. I like that. But then Centrifuge is right in there with the Dow Jones, and that's an important one too. So for me, I can't tell you what to do. I think a good split 50-50 is probably the best approach. I think that'll be it. That'll be all. Blue pill or red pill? All right, we got to go. This time is up. I'll see y'all later in my show. If I can make a show on the PM, I will.